keep a flag waving in a vacuum. You don't need any wind.
So NASA 2, conspiracy theorists 0.
All right. Not looking so good here for the conspiracy theorists. Whatever they. And, what I guess out of 5? Now, you know, we'll try have time for all. We'll do the boot. Maybe we should do the boot for the flag. That's a quick one.
Some of the first words spoken from the moon's surface answered the simple but powerful question.
It's almost like a powder.
What did it feel like?
I can see the footprints of my suit in the fine sandy particles.
But did Buzz Aldrin really make such an impression on the moon? To find out if moon boots make boot prints, Tori's borrowed the real deal.
Look what I got, a real moon boot.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That looks just like Adam's.
Yeah.
So this is the actual article.
Yep. Now all we have to do is put it on the moon stopper, smash it in some dust, and see if it leaves a footprint.
This conspiracy theory is pretty interesting. They say that because there's a vacuum on the moon and there's no water vapor,
Does that fit? You fit your toe there?
you can't leave a clear imprint from your boot the way they did in the photos for the lunar landing.
Just 840 pounds of lunar material returned to Earth from all of the Apollo missions. There's not much of it to go around. So for this test, NASA has given us a lunar regolith simulant.
It's manufactured to test equipment that is going to the moon. It's very similar to lunar dust in the fact that each particle is very sharp. Dirt on Earth has been weathered, so it's very smooth. So this is as close to lunar dust as we can get.
That's likely to be the key to this myth, a comparison of the physical properties of sand and lunar regolith. Down here, a footprint in dry sand collapses because the weathered particles can't bind together without water. But up on the moon, other bonding agents are at work, one of which, the irregular and jagged shapes of lunar dust, could cause it to stick together in those famous boot prints. Will the irregular shape of lunar regolith, in conjunction with the vacuum, result in a clean boot print and bust the myth?
Give it a shot.
The rig is ready to take its one-legged step, and the vacuum chamber has been vacuumed.
Boot stop, vacuum. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Yeah! Take that!
Yeah! Works!
In your face, conspiracy theorist.
Yep, it really does work.
Moon landing 1, conspiracy theorist 0.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So it seems you can make a clean, stable footprint in a vacuum.
Look at that. We made a footprint inside of a vacuum.
And there was no water vapor, which is what this conspiracy theory is all about.
Well, the gravity is 6 times stronger on Earth than it is on the moon, so if we made a footprint here, we're definitely making one on the moon.
So I guess this conspiracy theory is busted.
Busted.
Busted. Now NASA will let us out of here.
All right, and we'll do the last one here.
There's time for just one final test. And not just any old test, but the ultimate proof of man's moon mission.
What's this?
A reflector.
In fact, it's called a retroreflector, made up of many tiny prisms just like this. And did you further know that the Apollo astronauts were nice enough when they visited the moon to leave several of these on the surface so that Earth-bound scientists could point lasers at it and gather information about the moon?
So what you're saying is that we get a really big laser and point it at the reflector on the moon, and if we get a signal back, that means that we were in fact there.
Precisely. Okay, it breaks down like this. A retroreflector bounces light back at the light source, regardless of the angle. This differs from a mirror, where the angle of incidence has to be perpendicular. So, if there was a retroreflector on the moon, and we knew its exact location, and we had a powerful enough laser,
Say hooks.
we could detect the reflection and prove there is man-made equipment on the moon.
What are we supposed to be doing?
Technically, we're supposed to have a conversation about where we are.
Oh, you mean like the Apache Point Observatory? This thing right here is the Apache Point Observatory. What of you? And these guys have the tools that we need to put the final nail in the coffin on the moon landing hoax.
Yep, up here in the Sacramento Mountains, New Mexico. Adam and Jamie meet one of the observatory's top docs, Russ and McMillan.
How can I help you today?
Well, it seems that there are some people that do not believe that man has actually been to the moon.
I've met some of them.
What do you think?
I think they're crazy.
A bold statement, but Dr. McMillan has the hardware to back it up.
Here's the thing. This little laser pointer is about 10 milliwatts. That's great, but it's not going to make it to the moon and back. That thing, however, peaks at 1 gigawatt. That's 100 billion times more powerful than this is. That's what you got to have to make it to the moon and back.
This is actually not a bad imitation of exactly what's on the moon that we're shining the laser into. In fact, the specific one we're shining into was left there by the Apollo 15 crew. Now, we're firing on the order of 200 quadrillion photons per laser pulse at that reflector. And we're getting between 1 and 3 photons back per pulse if we're lucky. When we get that photon back, we'll see a spike like that on the screen.
I am slewing the telescope to the lunar highlands.
Slew away.
Test number 1, shining our laser at a portion of the moon's surface devoid of all man-made objects, including retroreflectors, known to locals as the lunar highlands.
There's the moon. You can see the craters.
With the laser pointed at a random location on the moon's surface,
Initiating laser.
Dr. McMillan pulses 200 quadrillion photons into the night sky.
So we're shining the laser on the lunar highlands now, and we're getting nothing back except background light.
As expected, the lunar regolith, with its reflectivity index or albedo of approximately 8%, simply scatters the beam, and the sensors back here at the observatory detect no reflected light.
Now I'm going to move to Apollo 15.
Apollo 15, crewed by Scott, Irwin, and Warden, set down at the base of the lunar Apennine Mountains, which is where they placed the retroreflector.
Wow.
That's the location where Apollo 15 landed on the moon.
That is so cool.
Initiating laser on retroreflector from Apollo 15. And there's a spike beginning to stand out.
Is that it?
That's the return from Apollo 15. Light returning from the laser retroreflector at exactly the wavelength and distance that we were expecting.
That is so cool. I know you do this like 100 times a year, but it's really thrilling to watch it happening right in front of us.
Not just thrilling, but conclusive.
Look, I'd love to go to the moon, but I can't. At least not right now. So we did the next best thing.
We shined that laser at the moon on the second test, and we got a clear spike back. Photons came back to our receptor. Now, the only way that that could happen is if there was a piece of man-made equipment up on the moon to reflect them back.
So get over it. There's no conspiracy here.
We've been there. We've done that.
All right. So, that's the one that, there was one more thing that the Mythbusters did in this episode, and they tested the moonwalking, right? The bouncing around. But the YouTube copyright people took that one off, so I don't know how to get that one back. If you still believe that it was a conspiracy, there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet about how Adam and Jamie were actually paid by NASA as part of the grand conspiracy to do this production and to make it look all nice and good. So if you're one of those people and you still believe that, like, the Mythbusters are part of this big hoax and that this is all a wheel and deal, then you are a genuine conspiracy theorist, and I don't really know how else to convince you otherwise that this was not a conspiracy. I trust Adam and Jamie and the Discovery Channel people. So that's kind of where I stand. I really do think we went there. I don't think it was like this big grand hoax, because what would be the point of the hoax? Just to say we did something and we didn't? It just seems kind of, I don't know. To me, you know, this is my opinion. To me, it just seems a little bit far-fetched to maintain that it's still a hoax. That's just me, right? That's the whole point of that show, Mythbusters, to test urban myths and all that other kind of stuff. So, looks like we ended about 3 minutes early, but that's okay. Any questions, thoughts, concerns about any of this stuff? Anyone got anything on their mind? Yeah. All right.
Air conditioning doesn't work. Alrighty. Time to clean the air conditioner.
Serious.